Macabre Cast.
The mummy is on the loose, and he's dancing with the devil. You know what that means? It's time for another episode of Macabre Cast. Doc Mark and Chorus, the little mummy, here to bring you another episode of Macabre Cast, where we'll be dropping R's where they belong and adding them where they don't. Okay, so last week Matt wrote in asking me to put an order from best to worst Friday the 13th movies because we were in the actual Friday the 13th weekend. And I put the order out there and said that I would explain this week because, as I've said, I can go on and on about Friday the 13th movies. So we'll start with my first. My favorite is number 2. I saw this in the theater when I was 12 years old. And still one of my favorites. This movie, especially to a 12-year-old, was scary. Was one of the first of its kind. I think the same year Halloween 2 came out. And but to me, I actually call this the first reboot. Because as great as Friday the 13th was, the original, it is a great movie. Still think the best thing about it is the jump scare at the end. The dream of Jason coming out of the lake. But they basically took and kind of redid the movie. Yes, a lot of people can say it's pretty much the same movie again, only it's Jason killing everyone, but it's just much scarier. They kind of redid the vision, putting Jason as the killer as opposed to his mom. And other than people constantly say Jason doesn't run and he walks like Michael Myers, the first 4 movies clearly has him running, which I find much scarier. But 2, I think, definitely my favorite, even though a lot of people have a problem with what they call potato sack Jason. But I actually find that mask very frightening. When I tell you I'm keeping these brief, you have no idea how brief I am keeping them. My next is part 4, which is really tough for me not to have this be the first one because there is so much that I like about it. I just don't find it as scary as 2, so that's why 2 takes top spot. I love everything about this movie. I love it that it takes place hours after part 3 ends, with him laying in the barn, axe still in the head. I love it that this is one of the first movies that actually is trying to say he's dead. They stick him in a morgue. He comes back. His rampage moves at such a fast clip. It's you almost wonder how he gets from one kill to the next so quickly. Almost like he's just appearing. But that's fine. I'm not trying to put logic into these movies. I love them and I have a great time. I love the whole Tommy Jarvis storyline. I like the fact that he looks and reads about Jason and then goes through the whole trying to make himself look like Jason as a child. There's the whole psychological angle that they throw at Jason, much like they did at the end of part 2 with Jenny pretending to be his mother. In the end is just top-notch Tom Savini sliding down the machete through the head. Again, tough not to make this my favorite. I think the only reason 2 takes top spot is because of the shrine to his mother with the head, the opening, and it's tough. I could probably go back 4, but I'm going to leave 2 at the top, 4 being my second.
This is going to be a long episode.
Part 3 in 3D, and yes, I saw this in the theater. Doesn't get better than this. Love this movie, but after seeing it in 3D, for years and years after seeing it in just 2D, this is why it takes a backslide to 4. With the exception of maybe the last 20 minutes, I just think 4 is the better film and the better story. But don't get me wrong. I like 3 a lot. But the 3D really enhances the experience. This obviously was the first movie with the hockey mask. You gotta love that. This whole new look to Jason was created in this film, although it's a different guy that plays him in 4, and I like the guy in 4 better, Ted White. I think this was Richard Brooker, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, 3 would be number 3 for me. Number 4 would be the original movie by Sean Cunningham, who had the genius idea to steal from Halloween, up the body count, up the blood, up the guts, and he had the amazing Tom Savini, who had just done Dawn of the Dead, do the effects. Original is a great movie. Just after the others came out, no longer remained my favorite. Number 5 for me is Part 5, A New Beginning. Not the direction that they made you think they were going to go in Part 4, but a whole new direction nonetheless. This movie's good. The kills are good. I remember as a teenage kid not being too crazy with the fact that the real Jason wasn't in it. But what I do recognize many years later is this will be the last of the films to have that look and feel of the original 4. After this, these movies took on a whole new look and a whole new feel. That's why this one holds at 5 for me. Part 5 may say A New Beginning, but all it really is a retelling of the original movie. And instead of mommy killing because of what happened to her son, it's daddy killing because of what happened to his son. Just using the Jason persona. Which brings us now to Freddy vs. Jason, which there's a lot of back and forth, and people claim that this is more of a Nightmare on Elm Street sequel than it is a Friday the 13th sequel, so who knows. Let's just table this one. Anyway, we'll just take it out of the mix, and maybe I'll have it be a topic on an episode on its own. We can just talk about it some other day. Next is the reboot, which is very slick and well made. Easy idea. They just took the first 4 movies and made it into one movie. But I thought it was done very well. But again, it's a reboot. So, onward. So number 8 for me, Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, which I know is a fan favorite. A lot of people love this movie. It's not that I don't like it. I do like the film, but this is where everything changed. The movie had a whole new look and a whole new feel. Way over the top tongue-in-cheek in this movie, including deaths that just had funny little, things to them. I like the film, but it's just not what the original 4 movies were. So for me, it ends up number 8. I do like the fact that Alice Cooper wrote a song and made his comeback when this movie was coming out with Man Behind the Mask. That's definitely a plus. Number 9 is Jason X. Basically, Jason in space. Actually, not as bad as you think it would be. There's a lot of rough scenes to try to get through and really bad acting. And I know you might think the acting in the other movies is bad, but this is really bad. But a lot of cool Jason stuff. I'm not a big fan of Uber Jason, but that seemed to be a big thrill for most people. But yeah, Jason X. Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. This was the first of the films to remove the Friday the 13th name and changing it to Jason, which is what these movies were all about. This is also the return of Sean S. Cunningham, who, when he made the original film, his only intent was to make money. He ripped off John Carpenter's Halloween, and as I said before, made it more bloody and a higher body count. His goal was to make money, which he made a lot of. I don't think he ever really cared about the film or about the characters, and it definitely showed when he made Jason Goes to Hell. He heavily stole from another film called The Hidden that had come out in 1993, I believe. Or 1987, my bad. The Hidden was 1987, so in 1993, he made Jason Goes to Hell, but he heavily stole from that movie. When you go into a film, you have a beloved audience that loves Jason, loves the mask, but the producer is basically saying the last thing he wants to see is that mask. and to get rid of it, you get a problem. This is probably not the guy to be making this movie. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in the film, but yeah, definitely not one of the great ones. Acting became much better, but not great. And dead last for me, at the very bottom of the list, the movie I think is the worst of the lot, is Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. I really looked forward to this movie. In fact, I bought the poster before I even saw the movie. It would have been nice if it was actually filmed in New York, for starters, or if even half of the movie took place in New York. I think it might only be the last 20 minutes. It's really Jason wreaks havoc on the Love Boat. Wow, this movie, the acting was maybe a notch above soap opera actors. It was pretty bad. But again, I don't base these movies on the acting because, for the most part, the acting is subpar anyway. So, this is bottom of the barrel for me. My least favorite of the series.
Oh well, I guess nap time is over. Speaking of Matt, who asked you to rank these, he sent in pictures of his year-round scary decor. He's got a little man cave of, horror. Look at these.
Wow, nice setup, Matt. So great. Thank you for sending those in. It's really awesome looking. And you too out there can send in your pictures of your Halloween decor, costumes. Give your thoughts, opinions, ideas. You know the spiel. Hey, it's Halloween, and everyone's entitled to one good scare or one good song. That's right. Yours truly, Dark Mark, sings. You can pick up on Apple iTunes for only 99 cents. The Ghastly Ones. Here's a little piece of that.
We are the Ghastly Ones. We are the Ghastly Ones.
I did get out yesterday to catch another Universal Classic Monsters film at Showcase. I saw Frankenstein, and again, great experience. I hope to catch one more before it's all said and done, but at least I got two under my belt, Frankenstein and Bride. And don't miss next Monday, the 30th. That's the big Halloween show. Please send your messages in. Tell me your Halloween experiences as a kid, memories, anything Halloween. Share with us. It's Monday the 30th. Until next time, stay on the road, keep clear of the moors, and beware the moon. But most of all, be good to yourself. This is Dark Mark, signing off. See you soon.